Welcome to the ESL One Genting 2017 Grand Finals. That's right, and a big shout out to Malaysia. We're currently broadcasting live on Malaysia's NTV7 and on Malaysia's first and largest homegrown streaming service, Tonton. Welcome to all of our viewers, and welcome to the panel as well. We're going to have a fantastic grand final ahead. It's already set. Newbee, of course, versus DC. We're going to let the players have a little bit of a break after their semi-final. I think they need it after that as well. And instead, we're going to give you some recaps from days 1 through to 3 and some extra content that you haven't seen just yet. Welcoming back onto the panel, we have Purge with us, we have Malini, and we have Sir Action Slacks with us.
Whew, man, I am so excited. Paul, this has been a dream come true. I never thought I'd make it on a panel before you died. So, I mean, this is... We barely made it, but...
And it's begun already.
That's right.
It's begun already.
We're locked on a panel with Slacks. Help us, please.
Yeah, please,
Hey!
help us out.
Oh, come on.
No,
Everyone in
seriously,
here
no,
is
it's good to have you here.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, you've been fantastic with these last couple of years. We've been working with you, and I've seen the meteoric rise from little-known reporter to meme creator.
Before that, he was a driver for the players.
Actually was, yeah,
That's
driver.
true.
Sorry, I missed that first step as well. It's an important first step for anyone that wants to have, you know, an entry into esports. Important entry, gets you in, and I've seen your career flourish.
Thank you.
And I'm just a little bit worried that maybe my job's under threat.
No, Paul. I can never replace you, literally,
Really?
because I don't have enough diction for it. But it's good. It's good to have a rising career. The other two panelists on my, you know, they used to be pro players. But I feel pretty good. I mean, I'm happy where I'm at. Thank you for having me on the panel for the first and probably last time. Thank you.
Did you just call me a pro player?
Excuse me?
Did you just call me a pro
I
player?
think he might have done.
Ex-pro player.
I saw a mild
That's actually a
smile from
compliment
Burge there.
compared to usual, so thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Purge.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, well, we're going to get into this. We're going to give you a preview and a review, as it were, from the previous 3 days, especially for our new viewers here in Malaysia as well. We're going to go all the way back to day 1. We'll take a look at the bracket and show you exactly what panned out on day 1. The majority of it was about best of ones, and who doesn't like a good best of one? Virtus.pro, Fnatic, they went head-to-head. Fnatic, of course, with a new lineup here, just announced days before they went down to Virtus.pro. Newbee taking down Team NP initially as well. And then in Group B, Digital Chaos winning against Execration. And the local boys, WG Unity, actually putting up a very good fight against Wings Gaming, but did ultimately go down. The first 2 qualifiers from that first day, Newbee winning 2-1 over Virtus.pro, seems an awfully long time ago now. And DC, more impressively perhaps, coming back from a game down that they lost with the Meepo.
Yeah, it was a little surprising, but I think the real story of that first day was really, the keyword was best of the best of ones. It was very stompy, people adjusting to the new meta. The new patch just came out a couple weeks ago. The teams haven't been playing that many tournaments, and just because they come into a tournament, it doesn't mean they're necessarily completely in tune with what the game should be played like, ideally. So the first day was very stompy, a lot of games that were just one-sided. I think the one team that seemed like they had a firm grasp on the meta from the start was Newbee, though. And I think that might be one really big thing that they have going for them towards the finals.
Well, yeah, Newbee are insane anyway. I mean, literally no one knew how to play Dota when this tournament started. As you said, it's 7.0. I mean, those were old times, but Newbee, I don't think they know how to play normal Dota anyway. So, yeah, they were right up their alley, right, buddy?
Yeah, they play the most games on this patch, and they definitely seem prepared. Day 1 was the least strange of all the days. It seemed like just a short transition from the prior patch, whereas today it's like way different. Same with yesterday.
Yeah, it's so fun, isn't it, watching the meta evolve over just even 3 days in a tournament.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing about going to tournaments easily. Watch all the games because of casting or paneling, and you just see the developments. Even that last game, the drafting has become more serious. They have very clear openers. You're going to expect Drow Rangers in the first opening from Newbee in some cases. They're not necessarily picking the same heroes they did at the start of the tournament either. The ones that they feel more comfortable with are going to be there. So I think the meta's making more sense, at least to me right now. I feel like I know what to expect in most cases, but they'll always be throwing in some curveballs.
Yeah, I think that as it evolves, it will just get more interesting as it goes along as well. The other interesting thing from day 1, I think you brought this up actually during day 1, wasn't just the stomps. It was either a stomp or it was a 15-minute even match, and then one team snowballed.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily sure what that was. Maybe just
nerves,
team synergy.
Just waiting to see how things panned out, playing it a little bit cagey.
I think it's mostly like draft related, right? Like your drafts didn't come together cohesively like they thought they would. They thought, whatever, this will work fine, but then they showed the hard truth. It's not going to work. That was bad picks. Yeah. They didn't fit together. You lose at 15.
What was your favorite thing on the first day? What did you get up to mischief-wise?
That's a great question. I don't know.
Was it fog-related videos?
We did. Actually, that guy that turned into you, he works for me now. He's great. He's my publicist. Yeah.
I own the rights to my face, though, so like even if he...
I'm not sure you do. There was a guy in the crowd earlier who looked much like you with a beard.
Oh, yeah. your ex-brother. But no, my favorite part of that whole thing was kind of just seeing the power of those new trees, because I don't really read patch notes. I have no idea what's happening in the game. So my experience at tournaments is seeing Dota played for the first time correctly. So those trees, man,
and
they were
yet
hot.
Still you go home and refuse to do it the right way.
Well, of course, because your way is
It's okay,
not the right
Purge.
way.
Calm down. Control yourself.
Anyway, could you believe how good WG Unity was? I mean, a lot of people underestimate that team, but they came out fighting, dude.
I actually had higher expectations for them at the Boston Major
Okay.
after I saw them. Dude, they were very, very impressive. They were on the slightly weaker side of the bracket, but I expect them to go a little bit further because of that.
Oh, okay.
I feel like they went a little too crazy though. They had some, especially like no, that was Execration going to Rubik, but still, their draft was. It was okay. It was very strong, but Execration clearly played better. And I think considering that you come off a top 8 performance at Boston for that much money, and then you fall down that rapidly, it was definitely surprising. They should have been more consistent.
Yeah, definitely good in qualifying as well. We're going to move on to day 2 and show you the bracket for day 2. Day 2 was our focus for the elimination matches. The teams that lost their opening best of ones were in action first up, and they moved through to the teams that dropped down from the winners bracket final. That meant Team MP were able to show us some skills at last as they took down Fnatic by 2-0. Very disappointing for Fnatic, of course, with a new lineup though, and plenty to look forward to in the future. Group B, lower bracket, WG Unity going out having won just a single game here on home soil against their arch rivals from the Philippines, Execration making their way through, who were dealt with very swiftly by Wings Gaming. The other bracket, virtus.pro coming through 2-0. So in the end, we've ended up with the 2 finalists being the 2 top teams from both groups. Not always the way it happens.
It's not too surprising, I guess. I mean, although I would say the top 4 teams were definitely very close to each other, but at the end of the day, DC just stomped their opponents, made VP look kind of bad, and that's kind of been the case of a couple of the matchups. You have some faith in a team, and then they go into a best of 3 and they get all drafted, or various other issues that come up. I mean, there's only so many games that you can win.
Absolutely.
It's easy to look bad.
Execration obviously winning over WG, good match for them, but then getting beasted by Wings in the end wasn't quite what they had in mind.
Outdrafted a decent amount, I would say, but they concentrated way too much on the early game and didn't have a wholesome draft. But I liked how they beat Execration beat WG Unity. They went pretty far though. I expected them to drop that first series.
Yeah. It was a sad day for Fnatic.
Yeah, that was so disappointing.
But they just formed their team. I mean, overall, this is just the beginning of that legacy. But man,
but you want it to last.
Of
There's
course.
only so many times you can reform before the next qualifiers.
Is there? I mean, they could take some guys from the audience. They could make it work. All right.
Guys, they looked fine. They did well. Come on. Like they lost NP. That was maybe the best set, the most convincing set that NP played. But I saw a lot of promise in Fnatic's lineup. I think they can get something good done.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I just wish they got some more done here. But soon, Purge.
Soon.
Patient, my friend.
Soon TM.
Sick memes.
Let's move on.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's do that. One of the other teams in action were Team MP.
Yes.
And we'll get to this in a minute, so I don't want to hear from you just yet, because it's something special we have lined up. How do you assess that, Ben, as a tournament for them? Because it's sort of not disappointing, but wasn't spectacular either. It was kind of stuck in the middle, and that's exactly where they finished.
Yeah, they're like the middle Pokemon in the evolution. They haven't yet reached Charizard. They're kind of in the middle still.
I would say the one thing that really separates NP sometimes is that they need to be very comfortable with the meta and the heroes that they pick in it. And since it's a new meta, I think they had some successful games, but in their series, after they won their first match, it was just bad picks, I felt like. Or like their lane setup was kind of bizarre. It was roles that their players were playing roles or heroes in ways that were different for their normal playstyle, whereas normally they're very straightforward in how they pick their heroes. So I think the meta just kind of hit them there. In that match.
Just searching for a little bit of an edge for them. But there was a couple of impressive performances, notably Eternal Envy on the Ember Spirit was fantastic.
And Murano.
That first
Actually,
set,
the Murano was very good too, yeah.
He was flawless that whole set. That was the set versus Fnatic. I didn't see him make any mistakes.
Yeah, that team's like Team Theorycraft though. You have AUI, you have 1437, you have Envy, and MSS I think also likes Theorycraft. So I think it'll take them a decent amount of time to figure out what's best for their team. And unfortunately, this was not the tournament for them.
Okay, we said we would hear from some Action Slacks, but not here. But by the power of TV, he was with Team MP on the gondolas.
Oh. Hey guys, getting knocked out of an event can be sometimes sad. I'm here with MP. You guys are going home from beautiful Malaysia. How are you feeling?
Feeling pretty bad.
Pretty bad? Well, that's okay, because guess what? I'm going to cheer you guys up with the beautiful sights and sounds of the world's fastest cable car here. And oh boy, you know it, boy. We're going to have a Sky Juice party, baby. Woo! Let's party. All right. Oh,
I
yeah.
actually need one after last night.
Okay, great. All right, you guys ready to test your mettle here? We all gotta stand up. All right, because standing up is scary. Oh, you just instantly stand up. All right, face your fears. Face your fears.
And now we have to rock
No
the
jumping.
gondola.
No. Don't rock the gondola. No, oh my God, this thing is fucking shaking. I'm out. I'm out. This thing is supposed to hold 6 Malaysian peoples. I think it's like 1 American person.
We're way over.
Okay.
So seeing all this Malaysian jungle reminds me that there's darker places you can be in, like in the middle of the jungle.
Wow, that's deep, guys. All right, guys, that was it. Thank you for joining me for this beautiful Sky Juice party. We raged, we learned, we loved, and it was a lot of fun. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Fine, leave. Thank you. Okay, let's go. Yeah, take the Sky Juice, bro. That's right. All right, I'm taking the Sky Juice.
Well, that's one way of getting rid of a team when they've lost. Just take them down on the cable cars and take them off the mountain, I guess. Sir Action Slacks.
Yes.
You have already been on that cable car ride with me.
Yep.
Right? And we also had a glass floor.
Mm-hmm.
You did not look that scared the first time round.
Those people are out of their minds. They did not show it in the interview, but I asked Envy why he wasn't scared, and he said, "I do not fear death," and then he stood up and shook the entire car, all right? It's not a safe place to be with MP. His real life is just like his games. He just puts himself out there. He's not afraid to die, and he showed me that day. So, yeah, terrifying dude.
Fantastic. If you do get the chance to come out to Malaysia, do come up to the resorts at Genting, because it is absolutely fantastic up here, and use the cable car. Promise you, it's a good ride. Day 3. We're going to move on to day 3 right now and show you the bracket. And that's today. If you've missed any of the action, and a few of you may, that's okay. We'll bring you right up to speed. DC versus virtus.pro was our opening semi-final. A 2-0 win and a very comprehensive victory for the boys in blue and yellow. Down on the other half of the bracket, it was a battle from the east. Newbee taking on Wings Gaming. Fantastic second game from Wings Gaming. Hauled them back into contention. But Newbee, they just had too much patience for their brethren in China to take that third game and move on to the grand final, which set us up nicely. DC versus Newbee. Of the 2 semi-finals, which one did you enjoy most? Bearing in mind, I know that you've got some DC colours, but the other match seemed to be more interesting. Am I wrong?
It was interesting, but I need to know, what happened to VP? Can you tell me? Because I'm not a smart man. I watched both those matches. I have no idea what...
They've just fallen off since Boston. I think a lot of their confidence was shattered, and they still have some of their picks, like the sniper and stuff, but they just lost their mojo.
Oh.
I thought there was a lot of drafting advantage as well. They tried some weird stuff. The Chen didn't really work very well. It was kind of cool in theory, but it's not even a very high win rate hero right now with the current patch. So I just felt like DC kind of knew what to do to take them down in that game. The draft was superior for DC. I feel like they were on the right page, and it just seemed really easy for them. It was surprising, but I mean, I think VP's still good. Just
who do you think would have come in third if it was a consolation match?
Between VP and Wings? That's a really tough question.
I think Wings. Just for the craziness that they pull out.
Know.
I feel like Wings often kind of they react to their opponent's draft and fit something into it that looks good, whereas I feel like DC forced VP to pick heroes they didn't necessarily want, and I feel like that's why VP looked so bad, because they didn't get their strat. I feel like against Wings, VP's going to get their full 5-man lineup that they want, that's synergistic, that plays the playstyle they want, and they're going to dominate with it. But if you make them play something else, it's a bad spot. So I think VP might have had the advantage there.
Okay, we're going to talk about our 2 finalists now. You may have just seen on your screen, DC just walking casually through, to the back of the stage. Huge roar from the crowd, chanting Weeha's name. What is it that's made them love DC so much here? They've been the best supported team of all. Is that surprising to you?
Absolutely not. What is not to love about DC, man? I can't even talk when I think about them. I'm a fangirl over here, okay? You want to know how they prep for matches? By writing their name on the screen. It's like nothing to these boys. They don't care. It's great. And of course, the Meepo, to me, to a pub player who's like 3 to 4 to 5K, we look at a Meepo and we think that they're gods. I can't micro. I mean, if I'm Treant Protector, they hit the tower and then they die. You guys aren't impressed, but to me, it's incredible. Well,
I'm impressed.
You might be.
I'm impressed.
I'm impressed.
I mean, wait until he's eaten a whole world's worth of noodles and he's 9K, then you won't be laughing.
Yeah, you won't be laughing, Marlene.
I'm just impressed. You said so little in that whole speech. I actually got almost nothing from it.
That's
All
great.
I heard was like, Meepo is hard to play.
Meepo is hard to play, Purge, for us normal humans here on planet Earth.
I'm not even good at Meepo, but
oh wow.
There's a lot of more respectable things that DC does that I think gives them some good fandom. Number 2 at TI, that was a big thing. And they have a player from almost every single country, so they're always going to hit every demographic, I feel.
Yeah, that is what's great about America. We have people from every single country, but they're still an American team. That's why they're amazing.
Are you still going with that?
Absolutely. That is out there. USA, baby. Right?
Zero. There's literally none of them.
Okay, well, you don't have to.
But they live in Arizona, so
Hey!
we'll count it.
Suns fans American, so
That's right.
we're fine.
You're all good. They have had a fantastic run through. Highlights, it's difficult to pick out particular players as well because they all seemingly have had moments in this tournament where they've shone.
Yeah, I would say so. I think Sox has been playing the same as he did at TI in this tournament. Maybe didn't play as good at Boston, but he's been playing fantastic here. Misery's had amazing games. Really all of them. I think it's safe to say, yeah, all the players.
Misery drafting, I would say, is
It's been on point, isn't it,
Yeah.
so far? I think maybe one game.
They had that
Moved off.
one weak game though. Remember when Meepo just carried everyone and Moon was feeding on Axe and everyone was just dying and then Meepo was just like, "I'm here, guys. I'm ready. I will carry you." That was very worrisome because we haven't really had any just like straight carries by players except that one performance in this entire tournament. And when this is like such a team-based play patch, you have to worry if like 4 of your 5 members can't do anything to really help you win the game. But every other game was good.
There is the lineup on your screen. Digital Chaos with Wee, Moonmeander, Saxa, Misery, and Resolution, who must have enjoyed his semi-final over his CIS friends Virtus.pro. They are, of course, through to the grand final. The other team in this one, a big name from China, have had a very good year, but haven't really delivered anything on the promise that they've shown throughout 2016. It's quite odd, really, and that is Newbee. But they've started this patch off, Ben, very well indeed.
It's time. I think it's their time.
Do you feel it is their time?
Yeah.
And this suits them somehow as well, doesn't it, this patch?
Yeah, I think it's just because they tried really, really hard and they play a ton of games. Like we were even talking to DC or Misery, like had that on-stage interview. He's like, "Oh, we haven't really practiced because of New Year's and Christmas and stuff like that." But Newbee's just been grinding out games nonstop.
Yeah, it's important to remember how they haven't had that taste of victory yet, and I think DC feels a little bit like that as well. They got second at TI. Ever since then, they should have done better, but they haven't been able to. I think both teams are going to want it. I really don't know how it's going to match up.
Yeah, but I'm afraid the Newbee kind of has a little bit of an advantage here just because everybody has DC on their radar. They're preparing a lot for them, and Newbee consistently almost wins tournaments, and then
That's how DC got them, though. They don't play any games, so they don't know how
That's
to
right.
prepare.
What is there to learn when you never play? The old team secret approach. That worked out.
Well, it worked out for a while.
Once in a while in history.
Yeah.
Sure did.
Yeah, I mean, difficult to go against them. They've been favourites, I guess, probably the middle of the first day. I think most people on the panel, I remember the discussions we had on the opening, who's going to be in the mix. Wings are going to be there, virtus.pro should be there or thereabouts, DC will be there. Newbee probably the strongest team. I think a couple of you went with virtus.pro on the first day, but once we saw the first games, it was all on board the Newbee train, and that hasn't changed. There's been nothing since that first day that would suggest that they can't take this championship.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like we haven't seen Newbee underperform in one game. Like maybe they've had some games that they could have done better, but I haven't seen them drop the ball cohesion-wise. I've seen DC do that. I've seen pretty much every other team at the tournament do that at least once.
Yeah, I think there was a couple of mistakes in game 2 against Wings, which let Wings kind of capitalize on.
A lot of that was because of Necrophos, though.
Exactly, yeah.
That's
But
something
we're
that
talking
can easily be
minute
fixed.
issues, really, not big issues that they have to
You can
solve.
just ban that hero.
That's like meta adjustment issues, not like I'm going to stop communicating with my team and do a bad initiation. It happened a little, but not that much. I feel like DC is maybe a bit more prone to it. It's going to come down to just, if DC plays at full potential, I feel like they're better than Newbee. But I think Newbee is more consistent and has a very, very equal peak as well.
Fantastic games from CCC, and also a slight change in that last series, Ben. We kind of highlight. I think Jack made a great point about KPII. He's been sort of targeted in a way. They've pulled his heroes in early through the draft, which inevitably means he gets counted quite hard, and hasn't had the best of tournaments, even though they've been fine. When they left it till later, suddenly he seems to shine a little bit more.
That was easily one of his best performances that I've seen. Like he just got bullied in lane and then just had amazing hook shots. It was a great lineup to play Clockwork minus the Brood, but he delivered under pressure, and there were very many situations where he hit like clutch hook shots that led to very key kills. Yeah,
and it would have been easy for him to have just kind of got frustrated. I mean, he hasn't had a great tournament up to that point, and then he gets put in a lane with a Brood.
I mean, I wouldn't say he hasn't had a great tournament. I think he's had a lot of really good performances. I think he's been very consistent. I mean, maybe a couple times he's made mistakes, but he's constantly impressing me every game that I watch. I think he's been standing out with SCC. Those two have been playing the best, I think, on the team. And the patch is very good for him as well. Like he's been making starter work. He's been making more roaming heroes work. He's been getting tons of farm while he plays them. He doesn't ever feel behind to me. I think he's been playing great.
Okay, good stuff. In terms of the way they match up, we're going to talk predictions. So Action Slacks of Digital Chaos, where are you going for the grand final?
You know, this might blow your mind.
Right.
But DC, I do love them. I don't even know if I'm on the team anymore. I think Newbee's going to take it. I know, it's crazy. DC is good. They are a fantastic team. But these guys just got off the backs of killing Wings. That's something that DC has had a lot of trouble with in the past. I mean, these guys are on the streak, baby. And Newbee, they've been playing great. Purge, you've been wrong about a lot of things in your life, mustache, fashion choice. But one thing that you were right about is that Newbee has been playing fantastically in this tournament. I think they can go for the gold.
Hold on, so you're going for Newbee
Yep.
based on some sort of curse, anti-curse,
Sure.
commentary curse thing, that if you go with DC, it curses them and then they lose to Newbee, so you think Newbee will win.
Well, now you're
But by
really
going by Newbee, you're hoping that that curse translates back to Newbee so that DC win. Is that right?
Yes, Paul, you were right. And now my favorite team will lose. So thank you, Paul.
Oh.
Well done there.
I'm sorry. Let's
That's great.
move on swiftly. Ben, which way do you think it's going, Ben? Without any curses being worried about.
I think Newbee, just because I think they've had less bad performances. It's a best of 5. It could be a grueling series, just like the Newbee versus Wings. And I think that over this many games, I have to favor Newbee. Although I do think DC has a deeper pool of heroes and strategies, I think Newbee are less likely to falter, and they will have a lot more resilience.
I agree with a lot of those points, but I think I feel more comfortable about DC winning for 2 reasons. The first mostly being that they haven't played. I mean, they played earlier today, obviously, but they had a huge break. Their series was very straightforward and easy. They've been able to watch the whole Newbee series. They've got more prep time here. That's going to be a huge advantage. And almost every single time that we see a team go from losers bracket to grand finals, they almost always will underperform by like 3rd, 4th game kind of a thing. Drop the ball there. And as well, I just feel like DC, I feel like they're finally on the upward swing. I think they've got this one. And I think the drafting is going to do it.
All right, so Purge goes with the crowd here in Malaysia, who are definitely with DC, and it looks like the community are also with DC. 68-32 in favor of Digital Chaos from Europe.
That's bias.
That is extremely biased, but I didn't think that it would be that bad. I mean, to me, realistically, this is almost a flip of the coin, in my opinion.
It's very close, I think.
All right, okay. We're going to hear more from all 3 of you, but right now, it is time, ladies and gentlemen. The grand final is almost upon us, and it's time to introduce you to our grand final teams.
Malaysia, you have been amazing for these past 3 days, supporting your esports scene. And now we are here for your grand final! Let's meet your teams. Up first, we have Team Newbee! Making their way to the Arena of Stars here at Resort World Genting, Team Newbee! Give it up for Newbee! Their opponents, show some love for Digital Chaos! Digital Chaos! Here they are, your second team for the grand final, Digital Chaos! Here we go. Malaysia, drop your phones for a bit because we're going to end things on a hype note. Let's hype this arena. Now, we're going to get things started now. I want you guys to get this clap going. Come on, let's get a clap going. Come on. Slow. Let's do a slow clap. Slow clap. Come on. Slow clap. Slow clap. There you go. There you go. Keep it going. Keep it going. We are here live on national TV. The grand final of ESL One Genting, DC versus Newbee. If you love Dota, let him hear you, Malaysia. Let's do this.
The hype is real here in the Arena of Stars. All the stars are on the stage right now as the 10 players get ready for the grand final to crown ESL One Genting champion in 2017. The trophy awaits the hands of the victors, and Draft 1 is just around the corner. Gents, it's an exciting way to end a fantastic week of Dota.
I mean, we've had amazing games even up until this point, and we still have a best of 5 to go here. And I think these two teams are so closely matched that we're going to get an amazing series.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect anything else from these two teams, Ben. What are you expecting most out of the two, though? Diversity, great picks, interesting picks, maybe some curveballs here and there.
Sick team fights.
Sick team fights, absolutely. Got to be those two.
Absolutely. I mean, both these teams are just so aggressive. They're so unpredictable, and not only in the drafting stage, but just how they play the game. And man, we're going to see some blood, guys. This is going to be brutal, and I can't wait.
Yeah, absolutely. Different setup in this one. Best of 5, so we should talk about that because it does change the dynamics a little bit. We saw this at TI, of course, with DC. They can pick up games like this early on. Then the momentum comes into it as well. Do you feel like it matters too much, though, to either of these two teams, Kevin? Does it matter if one goes up 1 or 2-0 and then maybe the other one gets a men block and can't come back?
I don't think it's as important as it is talking about the best of 5 grand finals meta that always happens. When you get two teams that go through a whole tournament and develop meta with the new patch, and then they finally get matched up against each other. They've done some homework in the last night or two, knowing maybe what they want to pick, maybe how they want to adjust things. And then as each game goes, you will see things develop. And game 1, you could see some hero get banned first phase. He could slip through game 2.
Yeah.
It's entirely possible, and that kind of unpredictability could see absolute breaks in momentum. So even if one team does get ahead, I don't know if it's going to be enough.
I love that fact, that whole meta in the final itself, because as you said, you get these bans come out early on because of the homework they've done. Then they might ban them for a few games, and then suddenly they let them slip, then it comes back out, or something else might surprise them in game 1 that they actually didn't take into account at all, and then have to ban for the next 2 or 3 games, which lets something else through. Very interesting, Ben.
Yep. Berlini, I had a question for you.
Sure.
We've seen the whole tournament. We've seen everything going. Who do you think is the MVP Dota hero right now, just in this tournament? Who is the number one that both these teams are going to try to grab?
I probably would have said Rubik before last series.
Oh, God. Rubik.
Aside from execration performance,
Rubik. He had the best win rate.
Oh, good.
The one hero you irrationally hate, Slacks.
I love that.
You don't like Rubik?
You're right.
No.
He hates
Oh,
Rubik.
yeah, that's right.
Rubik.
I didn't even mean
No, please explain
upset you.
So why?
Because I think he's the best first pick available right now, and he fits in most of the strategies. I think like when you first pick a Drow, you kind of know what's coming. First pick a Luna, you kind of know what's coming to.
Rubik doesn't give anything away, does it?
Yeah, it's
strong.
It's always just as strong, and it's also like good versus some of the weirder picks too, like Omni Knight. I think.
What?
You know what it does reveal? It reveals that they know more about Dota than Slacks does. That's pretty clear.
Funny.
Yeah, now we get to the real crux of the matter as to why Slacks hates Rubik.
Rubik is just fundamentally a evil hero. I mean, he's just a bad person.
Destroys Omni.
Is
he
a
doesn't
Radiant or
destroy
Dire?
Omni Knight.
Huh?
Is he a Radiant or is he a Sentinel or Scourge in Dota 1?
What?
Oh.
How old are you people?
Well, because of his lore. Is lore good or bad?
What? You don't do Dota 1 lore and Dota... Stop talking, Ben. Just stop talking. But no, Rubik is disgusting. When you pick Rubik, you're basically saying the enemy is going to mess up, and I'm going to capitalize on that.
This started off as a nice conversation of
Yeah.
which hero is the MVP of this tournament. Purge, have you got any better ideas?
I think Mirana's been pretty big in a lot of games.
Yep.
It's like Quap and Centaur have had pretty good win rates too. I think Centaur's been a hero that's been surprisingly strong. Heroes that are sometimes okay in the offlane, but also have a lot of lane pressure potential, and Centaur is clearly one of those.
Yeah, it's been playing a lot. Not played a lot, I think 5 times.
Yeah, something around there.
Could be Meepo too.
Meepo,
Only lost the
Underlord.
1. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Rubik's only lost 2, maybe 1 or 2. I can't remember exactly, but it's definitely was. I mean, it was 5 out of 5 at one point. I know that much.
Yeah.
And I guess probably the most disappointing big pick has probably been Slardar, isn't it?
Oh yeah, he's at a pretty low win rate. But I think it kind of depends on the team. Maybe there's a lot of times where they'll get some momentum. Everybody will say, "Oh, Slardar's the hero," and then every team will pick him. And some team has to lose at the tournament. And that's really going to affect win rates in a lot of ways. Whereas the better teams will know the right time to pick Slardar. And something Ben pointed out on another panel we're on. So many teams are just opening with Slardar rather than picking it when it was the right time against the enemy heroes, and that makes a big impact too.
Yeah, and it changes lanes as well, doesn't it? Because what tends to happen is he gets picked early, then he gets countered, so then they think, well, we'll use him in a different way, and then maybe not in the best way.
Yeah. Oh, Invoker, actually.
Invoker, yeah.
I think
mildly
Invoker's
surprising.
probably
Actually, a lot of people said coming in, oh, Invoker's trash right now, can't be played, he's not very good, can't do cross-wex anymore. But actually, we've seen it played twice really, really well.
Yeah, he owned in the games.
That's meta related though. That's because Tornado dispels some things that are really popular right now. There's a lot of Darkseer dual off lanes. It was like right when Ember started getting popular in the tournament, they thought, oh, hey, that counters Ember really well, and it started really doing that. So I think that was more of a meta thing. We may still see him more though.
Yeah, it was definitely countering on the Ember in that game. It was a big game, indeed. As we head into this